the Cage Nation. Welcome to the Cage Nation. No one can drop us, no one can stop us. We are the warriors, no one can top us, no one can rock us. We are the warriors, no one can drop us, no one can stop us. We are the warriors, no one can top us, no one can rock us. We are the warriors.
Mustaches that epic. They've just gone too.
Stop. It's okay. It's alright.
Promise myself I wouldn't do this.
Alright.
Okay.
It's okay.
Alright.
We still have Daniel Bryan's beard.
And Dan Severn's mustache, I guess.
And Severn's mustache.
Okay.
And Chuck Liddell can still throw a rhino around while ripping apart a tank, and
Yeah, okay, alright.
we're still good. All is still right with the world.
Okay, alright, I'm good.
And think about this. Don Fry could still kick your ass. With or without the mustache.
You know, you're a very good friend.
I do what I can. It's
Okay.
gonna be okay. And here's the other thing. It'll grow back.
Fair enough.
Alright.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Cage Nation TV. Of course, Drew, today we are counting down Road to Glory 6, coming to you guys, Johnstown, Pennsylvania, on May 3rd. We're real excited to be there.
It's a bit of a switch up from what we're used to. We're used to traveling down to Pittsburgh. Don't have to travel this far. So you guys in central Pennsylvania, you don't have to travel as far either. If you haven't checked out Gladiators of the Cage, this is the perfect opportunity to do so while it's right here in practically our backyard in Johnstown at the Cambria County War Memorial.
I think we've always said, you know, we have guys who are coming from Altoona and going to Pittsburgh. We have guys going to Pittsburgh, going to Altoona. Now, these are the two worlds are going to collide.
We're just meeting at the halfway point.
Absolutely. It's going to be a real war. Of course, we had a big UFC event last night, and it wasn't a great night from guys from the Keystone State.
Right.
Penn State graduate Phil Davis and Altoona native Charlie Brenneman both were handed out losses last night, but hey, it was still a great fight. A lot of guys were really, really happy with the way it turned down. And of course, Brenneman knows that there's always another day to fight in the UFC, even if Dana does hand you a pink slip. And Phil Davis has been doing a lot of talking. Of course, we know that talking sells tickets. So, you know, congratulations to everyone who won at the UFC last night. Of course, go ahead.
And both of those guys, by the way, affiliated with Central PA Mixed Martial Arts here in State College as well.
Brenneman was?
Brenneman was.
Really?
I know that Ryan Groom from CPA MMA was talking to Brenneman this past week about his upcoming fight. Yeah.
And Phil Davis, I thought Phil Davis was affiliated with Lionheart.
I could have sworn that he was affiliated with. Well, I don't know. You know, I'll have to do the research. But I know that Phil is Pennsylvania native. And
oh yeah, he weighed in the one time wearing his Penn State wrestling singlet.
There you go.
And there's been a couple guys who've done mixed martial arts after wrestling for Penn State. Of course, Phil Davis being one.
You know how you can learn this stuff, by the way?
How's that?
If you tune in to the MMA update Friday mornings, 105.9 Quick Rock with me and Ryan Groom from Central PA Mixed Martial Arts.
Ryan Groom knows his stuff.
He does. That he does.
Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of that, and he's a very good teacher.
Yes, he is.
He really cultivates a great learning environment, and you know, everyone who goes to Central PA Mixed Martial Arts, I've yet to hear anyone say anything negative about his gym and his camp, and it shows.
He's a good guy.
He is. Good peoples.
Moving on.
All right, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we are counting down Road to Glory 6 in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. We're going to talk about some exciting undercard fights. We're going to talk about the pro card and, of course, the main event. I have a feeling this episode is going to go a little bit longer, Drew, because those worlds are colliding. We know a lot more people who are involved in the card. We might get a little long-winded, but we are bringing you, I feel like, some good coverage on why you need to be at the Cambria County War Memorial on May 3rd. To see Gladiators of the Cage, Road to Glory 6.
Sure, he makes the episode long-winded this time around because I've got to be the one to edit it.
Well, so we're gonna pay some bills. When we come back, we're gonna get into the Gladiators of the Cage undercard for the amateurs.
Stick around. We'll be back with more on Cage Station TV here on, well, whatever you're watching us on. Stick around.
Don't worry about remote signal blockage again. Introducing the Top Mount. This low-profile shelf is perfect for placing your cable box where you can use it. The easy-to-install lightweight shelf is designed to fit behind almost any flat screen TV, with or without a wall mount. The Top Mount is perfect for easy access to cable boxes, game consoles, and DVD players. Don't have your signal blocked again. Order your Top Mount today at thetopmount.com.
So yeah, the Top Mount's an absolutely fantastic product. Of course,
I need one.
You know, if you figure as close as we are with the company who makes them, you figure we'd like have one for promoting their product.
You think we could have one right here on the table and say, hey, yeah, we use it.
Yeah.
Come on.
We're looking at you, Warner's Innovative Solutions.
Mike Kessling, Sean Warner.
Yeah.
Come on, hook us up.
Absolutely. Okay, so Drew, we need to preface this with there are a lot of great guys who are on the card for Gladiators of the Cage's Road to Glory 6. We're bringing you the fights we know so that we can share our enthusiasm with you. If we aren't mentioning a fighter on the card, it's not because we feel like they are not noteworthy or not worthwhile watching.
Right.
It's just that we're not familiar with him yet. We will be. After the fights are over, we're going to know a lot more about him. But we're including fighters that we know that we can offer that first-hand perspective on.
Exactly.
So if it's no disrespect if we didn't mention a fighter.
Right. It's no disrespect, none intended. If you take it that way, it's just we're learning as you're learning.
Right.
So
And this whole thing has just been a great learning process.
it has been, and it's been a lot of fun too. So.
Oh, absolutely. So, what's our first fight that we're going to talk about, Drew?
Let's talk about the first fight on the amateur card. We'll talk about the Amis first, obviously.
Of course.
John Rarick versus Jake McGill. Rarick, of course, coming off a November loss to Dan O'Neill from Central PA Mixed Martial Arts.
I think one of the best things that I've ever done in my career covering and contributing to mixed martial arts was being able to call fights. And we got to call a John Rarick fight.
Yep.
It was very clear seeing John Rarick fight that he's a very passionate individual. He has a lot of fire to go in there with the cage with. The night we called his fight, it didn't go his way, but that's okay. Not everyone has a perfect record, and a lot of guys who have close to 500 records have been in some of the best wars in the sport.
Well, the last fight we saw John Rarick in, we didn't call it for too long because it only lasted 28 seconds, and Dan O'Neill got the win.
Right. Now he's fighting Jake McGill.
Yes.
Both of these guys are in a spot where they really need a win to start pushing him towards winning momentum.
Well, McGill hasn't fought since January of 2013.
Right.
So
I mean, he's been on a really, really long layoff. So both these guys really need a win to get him into winning momentum.
Right.
I can't imagine a better platform than Gladiators of the Cage in Johnstown to be doing that in. Because you figure Gladiators of the Cage is going to open doors for... Strike that. Gladiators of the Cage has opened doors.
Yes.
For a lot of guys in the Pittsburgh, surrounding area. So for two guys who really need a win, Gladiators of the Cage, I think, is exactly where they need to be.
Most definitely. And this is going to be, like you said, this is going to be a launching platform for these guys. One of them desperately needs a win. One of them is going to get a win.
Right.
I don't see anything going to a draw because, quite frankly, I don't think I've seen any. Have you seen any MMA bouts go to a draw? Because I don't.
A long time ago.
I've never seen that happen. So.
I mean, it could go to a no contest.
Okay.
Okay, so
yes, I've seen that happen.
Okay. But, the nature of the sport and roulette, how many times it landed on green,
right.
It will more than likely be a win or loss for somebody.
All right, so we're looking forward to seeing that. It's going to be one of the many excellent fights on the card at Gladiators of the Cage. We're Cage Nation TV, and we'll be there.
And you know what makes our job a lot easier than sports coverage even 10 years ago? Is that we're so involved in social media.
Right.
We have such a connection to guys who are, what are they doing? And John Rarick is just training to be an absolute beast. Like, he's getting out there, he's putting his body through the rigors, he's training hard. So, clearly that fight with Dan O'Neill really tweaked him somewhere in his head.
Right.
And he's looking to correct that. I have to believe that Jake McGill, being laid off for so long, he has to be contemplating cage rust. So I imagine he's training just as hard. And it's those opening explosive bouts that really get the night started. And
exactly.
With Gladiators, I don't want to say it's been typical, but historically, those opening cards are the ones that keep you on the edge of the seat and carry you through the night. Right.
You want to start off strong and then have that momentum build even further throughout the night.
Correct.
And I don't think I've ever been disappointed in a card at Gladiators of the Cage. It's always started off strong and continued all the way up to the climax, the crescendo at the end, the main event, and it has always been explosive.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that main event here a little bit later.
Yeah.
But first, Drew, we got Brandon Lux, who's returning to action in his hometown.
Yes, taking on Michael Santini.
Brandon Lux, if I've done the math correctly, we either called Brandon Lux, yes we did, we called Brandon Lux's first fight at Complete Devastation. So he fought Caleb Costa-Dobosh.
Yes. And
Brandon Lux is such a naturally gifted, dynamic striker. I'm sure he has a ground game. I'm positive of it. The guys who train out of Damage Inc. in Johnstown, they train complete fighters.
They do.
And we saw that by Maggie O'Neill versus Courtney Kern. The fight went to the ground. Maggie O'Neill was completely competent when she went to the ground. So we know the guys out of Damage Inc. are training ground fighting.
Right.
Brandon Lux is not giving his opponents any opportunity to take him down for any significant amount of time. Of course, Dobosh, that fight ended shortly. The fight with Scott Athey, Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his last fight with Gladiators Cage, I think, was probably one of his best showings. The fight was dramatic. It was back and forth. I mean, Lux was a superior fighter that night, but it didn't look like he had a complete blowout.
Right.
So with Brandon Lux coming to Gladiators Cage, he's clearly fighting more substantial competition.
Okay.
So he's getting tested more.
Right.
And fighting Michael Santini, I think, has to be another testament to he's fighting more stringent competition.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Santini's bringing a lot more experience to the fight than I think anyone else has brought to Brandon Lux.
Now, according to mixedmartialarts.com, this fight is going to be an amateur middleweight title fight. So, and
Fantastic.
is that confirmed?
As far as we know.
Okay.
As far as we know, it's an amateur middleweight title fight. So, talking to Brandon Lux at North Shore's Rise to Power 4, he threw a name out there that he really wanted to fight.
Yes.
And so, I have to think that if Brandon Lux has gold around his waist, that name he threw out there will probably make for an even more exciting fight. Do you remember what that name was?
I'm trying to remember what that name was.
He said he really wanted to fight Dan Kakuta.
Ah.
Yeah. I don't think that fight happened because Dan, I think, just recently had surgery on his fist of justice.
Yes, he had to have that fist repaired from his last fight, which we were privy to. That was...
Again,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, Dan... So, the pecking order exists for a reason. So I have to think if Brandon Lux does end up fighting Dan Kakuta, it'll be a great title fight. But I think we are not doing ourselves any favors by counting Michael Santini out. Michael Santini has experience in spades. He has stopping power. So when you sit down and look at the numbers, Michael Santini has got... He's got a probably more complete game. He's been tested further.
Well, he's made a name for himself in the Maryland scene.
Exactly. So Maryland MMA is just as intense as what Pennsylvania MMA is.
Sure.
So now we're going to get guys starting to cross borders. And that also makes for exciting fights.
Oh my God.
Because now,
exciting.
we're introducing new blood into the scene.
Exactly.
So Michael Santini, he's the king of his respective mountain. Brandon Lux, of course, is the one of the superstars we got coming up. Now they're coming head to head. That makes for an exciting fight. I have to think that Michael Santini has just as fair a shot as Brandon Lux walking with Gladiators of the Cage Gold.
It's going to be one for the books, and we are looking forward to seeing it. No stranger to us, our good friend Kid Adamantium himself, the Wolverine Ethan Gotc, going to be taking on...
I'm just kidding. Of course,
Really?
you know Ethan Gotc.
He's going to... Dude, have you pissed him off enough?
I have not, but he refuses to fight me at 115. I've challenged him. I was like, Ethan, we will fight at 115 pounds. I don't think you can make the weight. I'm just saying.
What about you?
Are you kidding? Cut it tomorrow. Anyway. What do you even say to that?
I can't, really,
Exactly.
without coming off like a complete dick.
Thank you.
All right, Ethan Wolverine Gotc is taking on Derek Wright, and this is going to be an excellent fight. This is an amateur featherweight title fight. Gotc, he's just been on a tear, winning gold in his last fight. Unbelievable.
Ethan Gotc is one of those guys who, he doesn't have the perfect record. He's not undefeated. But the fights he's been in have been so substantial that he's just kicking indoors. Mm-hmm. Literally kicking indoors. He goes to Ohio.
That's going to hurt after a while, so Ethan, stop kicking indoors. Just open them.
He goes to Ohio. He wins gold there. He had probably one of Pittsburgh's best fights in Rel Hodge, of course, breaking Richie Candelina's nose. He's clearly taking gold. He's been named a #1 contender in another Pittsburgh promotion, a very big Pittsburgh promotion, and so now he's fighting for gold at Gladiators of the Cage. Ethan the Wolverine Gotc. Ethan the Wolverine Gotc is going around to all these regional promotions. Is like, hey, that belt looks nice. I'm going to take it home with me. Put it on my wall.
Now he's got. Fast forwarding to the other Pittsburgh promotion, real quick in regards to Ethan Gotc, he's going to be taking on
Jake Schilling.
Jake Schilling for their featherweight title, correct?
Right, because that featherweight title had to be vacated upon Rel Hodge and Richie Candelina going pro.
So it is going to be a busy summer.
Oh yeah.
For the Wolverine.
Well, imagine what that does for Ethan Gotc if he is able to obtain Gladiators Gold and the other Pittsburgh promotions championship. That makes him easily the king of Pittsburgh.
Makes him the I'm telling you, the baddest man in Pittsburgh.
That's exactly what it does. I mean, because Pittsburgh, the MMA competition is so fierce. I know, I was absolutely blown away by it. The first time I see Ethan Gotc, he fights Dan O'Neill, Complete Devastation 8.
Okay.
Takes a groin shot, doesn't stop him. That fight went very, very well. Ethan Gotc fights in November, and then he's getting a title shot against Richie Candelina in Pittsburgh very shortly after.
Right.
He's got the fights. He's clearly been tested. He's winning gold now, so he's on a winning momentum. Ethan Gotc is coming for gold. And again, if he's able to obtain both, that easily makes him the baddest man in Pittsburgh.
Well, we're looking forward to that fight, I'll tell you what.
Now he's fighting Derek Wright.
Right.
Derek Wright is no tomato can.
Well, he's coming off a lengthy layoff, though. He hasn't fought since July at North Shore's Rise to Power 2. So he's been off for a little bit.
Yes.
Is that going to hurt him?
Well, Derek Wright is undefeated. And the guys everywhere that Ethan Gotc has been and been successful, Derek Wright's already been there. So he's already been to Gladiators of the Cage. I think we saw him fight at North Shore's Rise to Power 2.
Right.
You know, he's been to the other Pittsburgh promotion. Like, you know, he's done everywhere that Ethan Gotc has been successful, Derek Wright has been there. And so he's undefeated. So you think with that kind of layoff, he's already with that kind of performance already in hand.
Right.
I think he's going to be ready. So those sort of variables are what makes for exciting fights. I'm a stats kind of guy.
You are.
I am a stats guy. So Ethan Goss's substantial wins, Derek Wright's substantial wins. Like, you know, Goss's momentum, Wright's been on kind of a layoff. It's the unknowns that I think is going to make for a dramatic, exciting fight.
All right, well, we're looking forward to that. All right, that's wraps up our look at the amateur card. We're going to get into our pro card here in just a minute. That includes some awesome names, I'm telling you what.
Ryan Glunt's coming out of semi-retirement again.
Charlie Gathers, who, coming to Gladiators of the Cage, I'm not going to get into it. We're not going to get into it too much, but let's just say the man has a beef, and he definitely wants to squash it.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a funny feeling he's going to have words for the crowd in Johnstown.
We got a welterweight title fight between two of the most entertaining guys I think I've ever seen in regional MMA.
I can't wait for that. Well, and of course, your main event involving a good friend of ours from Gladiators of the Cage,
Chris Dempsey, the man who proved that you will never doubt me. I will prove you wrong every step of the way. But he's fighting a guy who, again, we're bringing new blood to Pittsburgh, to the area. In Indiana's Nick Krause. So we got all that coming up right here on Cage Nation TV.
Don't you go nowhere.
I almost did it.
Huh.
Since the dawn of furniture, there has been only one way to keep an infant from rolling off a couch or chair, and that is unsafely cramming cushions against the piece of furniture and hoping the baby doesn't work him or herself under them. Until now. Introducing the Zoster. The Zoster is a revolutionary infant safety product that easily wraps around a cushion to keep your baby from rolling off a couch or chair. The Zoster is made with a fleece material complete with a waterproof underneath to keep various liquids away from your upholstery. The Zoster is currently available in solid colors and pattern designs. You can order the Zoster online today at thezoster.com.
Wonder if they make a man-sized Zoster.
I don't know, but like I roll in my sleep. I'd appreciate a man-sized Zoster.
That would help when I have to sleep on the couch for no apparent reason. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a wife. Why in the hell would I need to sleep on the couch?
Well, Mom and Dad are coming down this weekend.
They're coming down this weekend so I can go to the fight, so they're looking after my daughter. Hence, they're staying in my room, which is a huge bed. I have to sleep on the couch.
So you could appreciate a Zoster then.
I could appreciate a Zoster.
Did you get your Zoster yet?
No, my
Neither did I.
daughter's 12.
Oh.
I don't need a Zoster, and you don't have any kids.
But I've got a cat, and he's adorable. I'm still waiting on my Secure Connect too. Anyway.
So I got a Secure Connect. I got one of the first ones. You didn't get a Secure Connect?
No.
Dude.
Yeah. Anyway.
What's wrong? Come on, Warner, step it up. We're advertising your products. Get us some free shit, all right?
All right, Drew. So back to the matter at hand.
It's not a family-friendly episode this week, but go ahead.
We went through really good aspects of the amateur card.
Yes.
Gladiators Cage's Road to Glory 6. Now I think we're getting into what brings everyone to the dance when it comes to mixed martial arts. Of course, those are the pros.
In the words of Jack Black from Nacho Libre, let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Sure. Coming up in the Altoona scene, I think the way we did, the scene is relatively small, but there's a lot of camaraderie going on.
Yes.
And a lot of that camaraderie has to be extended and offered to Ryan Glunt.
Let's just say that recently, Ryan Glunt has had so much support, it's not even funny.
He's a very, well, you know, and that goes back to a lot of things. One, he's a nice guy in the community.
Right.
Two, he belongs to a gym that is less of a association of athletes than it is a family.
Right.
And, you know, he's done a lot of great stuff. So he's fighting Jeff Holmes. He's returning from retirement again.
Again.
He's off a great win off Matthew Dean at July 19th.
The card that shall not be named.
He was one of 3 fights that happened that night. But,
oh, God. Are we ever going to let that one go? I don't know.
No. Well, that was the precursor to the first time we ever went to Gladiators Cage, so it's technically relevant. Technically relevant.
Can I sidestep here for just a moment? We will get into the fight, but are they coming back to the Altoona area anytime soon?
Not that I've heard of.
Okay. I thought I saw a sign somewhere on a post somewhere. I can't remember where it was. In my travels recently, and I could have sworn it was for that promotion, but it may have been an older flyer that somebody forgot to take down. So I'll have to do some research. But
I think I would have heard about it by now. But I mean, I'm not.
Well, yeah, definitely you would have. Come on, you're the
Anyway, so Ryan Glunt versus Jeff Holmes. Of course,
Okay.
Ryan Glunt has a great win over Matthew Dean. It was a guillotine choke, and Glunt almost went up and over the cage, but he ended up landing safely at the top to celebrate. Jeff Holmes has a win over a former teammate of Glunt's in Brad Mountain.
Yes.
You know what's really interesting about that situation?
Tell me.
Holmes actually fought Mountain for Glunt, who was the matchmaker for that promotion. So there's a whole lot of strings just attached to that fight. So that makes for a really unique situation.
It does.
Holmes trusted Glunt to get him a fight, and Glunt did, and Holmes won that fight. But now Holmes has to fight Glunt, and you have to wonder, would that damage Holmes' chances for fighting for Glunt ever again? I'd have to say no.
No.
Glunt's more of a professional than that.
Glunt's a class act. He would definitely. I'm sure if it came down to it, Glunt would be sure, let's do it. Glunt is professional, first and foremost. So
absolutely, one of the most professional guys I've met in the scene. I don't know. Is scene inappropriate? In the circles.
in the region, I guess we could say, in the local MMA circles.
Okay, fair enough.
Why not?
Why not? So Jeff Holmes, of course, he stopped Brad Mountain by rear naked choke. Of course, Brad Mountain's no slouch.
No, he's not.
So Glunt's 1-1 in his pro career. He lost by rear naked choke to Billy Ward, but he came back and he won by a guillotine choke. Jeff Holmes, of course, beat Mountain by rear naked choke. What makes it real interesting to see Ryan Glunt fight, and I don't think a whole lot of people notice this when they fight, Ryan Glunt has a little bit of a hearing impairment.
Yes.
He does not let it hold him back. He goes in, he's not able to hear his corner real well, but that does not stop him from going in there and kicking ass. I mean, Ryan Glunt's amateur career really says a lot about that as well. I mean, he's won more than he's lost. So, the pro career, he's just kind of feeling it out. And, he's a great family man, too. So, I mean, a lot of that personal drama translates into the cage really well. When you see the man fight, you really understand why.
Right, exactly. It's going to be an excellent bout. Another excellent bout. I mean, especially, and any bout with Ryan Glunt is...
Yeah, I haven't been disappointed by a Ryan Glunt fight. I mean, there were times where I'd be like, man, I wish he would have won that fight.
Right.
But he did not give up. He was not straight up going into his own mugging.
The night in Clearfield was disappointing. It was an excellent fight.
Clearfield was weird just all around in general.
Yeah, that was just an odd night.
Very odd.
But damn, delicious burger afterwards made up for any sort of oddness whatsoever.
I was afraid I was going to have to give you an adrenaline shot to the heart after that burger you ate.
I was afraid I was going to throw up in your car.
Okay. Anyway, so...
We got to get out to Clearfield again.
We do.
I know. I need to stop at the Denny's Beer Barrel Pub. Get myself a 2-pound burger.
2-pound burger.
Take on 2-pound burger. Then I will throw up in your car.
So,
moving on.
Speaking of Dignan Broombot teammates, Charlie the Madman Gathers, Johnstown, Pennsylvania. He's taking on Steve Smith.
Now, we've talked to Charlie already.
Yes.
And we've talked to Charlie. You guys have seen it on Facebook, on YouTube, an exclusive interview. Charlie has a little bit of a beef with...
Fractured City Gear.
Fractured. Let's just call it out right now. He's got an issue with Fractured City Gear.
I don't think that was ever made a secret by anybody.
No, it's over a personal issue having to do... It's over a financial issue.
Right.
A lot of people know what it is, so I'm not going to get into the details.
And we did reach out to Fracture too, and hey, we want to make sure you have just equal to the platform. They declined to comment.
Right, which is their right.
They're like, we're handling this issue internally. There's no comment we'd like to make, and we absolutely respect that. Being MMA journalists, we're not in a position to be like, okay, we're not in a position to condemn anybody.
Right. And
We're not involved in that situation. We don't sit in the fractured office. You know, we as much as we'd like to, we don't train with Charlie Gathers. We just are not privy to that personal information to get all sides on it.
Right. We have to show partiality. We can't show partiality.
Right.
We have to be impartial as, professional journalists. That being said, this is going to be rather explosive. I think this fight at Gladiators of the Cage for Charlie Gathers is going to mean a lot more as it leads into the fight that he wanted, which is now going to happen in July. We'll discuss that in a little while, and of course you can check out our Facebook page for more updates on that, but we did make that official through our good friend Jim Auger.
Hi.
And we want to thank him very much. Good guy. What's his what's his website? What's his magazine?
Steel Nation magazine.
Yeah. Because you keep saying Steel City.
Yeah, I got it right. I was kind of apprehensive.
Look at you. Look at him.
I'm finally getting things right.
Telling you what. Anyways, so aside from all that, Charlie's got that weighing on his mind going into Gladiators of the Cage, who is somewhat affiliated with Fractured, correct?
They're not affiliated with the everyday operations. Fractured has a lot of fighters that appear on Gladiator cards.
Okay.
But Fractured City Gear is not involved in any promotional stuff with Gladiators. They are two separate entities. They're just very fortunate to have fighters who appear wearing the Fractured label.
Thank you for clearing that up. Now, Charlie is going to be taking on Steve Smith.
Now
we're in Charlie's backyard, too, practically.
Practically. He actually, I think Charlie actually lives closer to Crescent than he does Altoona. So, I mean, we're talking like a 15-minute drive to a fight for Charlie. The last time, this is actually a rematch.
Okay.
The last time Charlie Gathers fought Steve Smith, I was actually not able to attend that event. You and Kess were there.
That is correct.
And that was the event that Charlie fought with a broken elbow, if I remember correctly.
Fractured or broken, much like the injury, and I'm sorry if I'm delving into pro wrestling, but much like the John Cena injury. That's the best way I can describe it. It was a large, and I don't know if I can't remember if it's the left or right. I think it was the right.
I think it was the right.
So I'll use my left just for the sake of argument. A huge, almost like tennis ball sized lump right here, and that was just due to fluid building up because of the fracture, because of the break. Charlie somehow got past the doctors and was able to fight. Now, I was worried that he wasn't going to be able to fight that night because of that injury. Somehow they got through it. He got in the cage. Unfortunately, was not on the winning side of things. Unfortunate for him. Fortunate for Steve Smith. These two are going to be duking out again, and it is going to be an excellent fight. Charlie, of course, is in better shape than he was then. Elbow is fine. He's going to get ready. Steve Smith, I'm sure he's going to be armed for bear as well.
Well, I mean, regardless of the injury, Charlie admitted that Steve Smith was the better guy that night.
Right.
So Charlie's in a frame of mind where Charlie wants to go through and right all the wrongs that has ever happened to him in his career, and he's starting with Steve Smith. That Charlie Gathers is a perennial exciting fighter to watch regardless.
Right.
And I think his fight with Steve Smith happened in such a way that I think I don't say questions were left unanswered, but I mean, we're all ready to see a Steve Smith versus Charlie Gathers too.
And Steve Smith, no slouch either. Since his bout with Gathers, he's gone on to fight Jason the Whip Willett and Ronnie Jordan as well.
Yeah, well, Jason the Whip Willett, I mean, all things being relative in Pennsylvania MMA.
It's the Charlie Gathers universe. We're just sitting back and watching it. You bring up Jason the Whip Willett, and that will be Charlie Gathers' next opponent, I believe, coming up in July.
Depending on how this fight goes with Steve Smith, I mean, depending on are there fights available, will he be issued a suspension? A couple ifs, but
right. Yeah. Let's just hope that everything goes well. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting fight, and I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to just see how this turns out. So the sequel to Road to Glory 5.
Was it 5?
It was 5. Because this is 6. See where I'm coming from?
I see where you're coming from.
That's right. You weren't there, so
I wasn't there. Thanks for picking that scab.
Hey, no problem, jerk. It's what I do.
Okay. So, we have a pro title fight drill.
I cannot wait for this. This was an excellent bout when we saw it.
And North Shore's Rise to Power 3.
Was it 3 or 4?
3.
3.
3.
3?
3.
Okay. It was 3. At Stage AE. It was
Yes.
this was an epic battle, and it was just unbelievable. Talking about
there's so much going into that fight. It was great.
Brett, go ahead.
Brett Showtime Schoenfeld had just won Pro Gold in another promotion.
Central PA or Complete Devastation MMA. I knew I was going to make that
He
mistake.
wins Pro Gold there, and he's like, okay, well now I'm going to fight. He was supposed to fight Daryl Madison, but that fight did not happen.
Right.
So Zach Goebel steps up.
Zach, Bad News at 11 Goebel, whom I met at Road to Glory 5. Entertaining guy. Definitely, I mean, these two guys, as far as their I mean, not just their, let's set their athletic ability aside.
Yeah.
These two guys like to talk. And they're excellent.
And they're good at it.
And they're excellent talkers. I mean, if they were in wrestling, they could cut a wicked promo. These guys cut wicked promos. Let's just say that as it is. Definitely not at a loss for words, either of these guys. So,
Well, what needs to be said about Zach Goebel is, Brett was coming in here on a little bit of a momentum because he just won gold.
right.
He was slated to fight Daryl Madison, but that fight did not happen.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Goebel steps up and fights short notice. Zach Goebel is a guy who will fight anywhere, anytime.
Right.
He fought O.J. Vickers at light heavyweight, and now he's fighting Brett Schoenfeld at welterweight. We're talking like a 30-pound difference between those weight classes. He probably should be fighting at middleweight naturally, but he makes the weight cut to 70 well. He does just fine. So Zach Goebel will step in and fight anywhere, anytime. Brett Schoenfeld says that he's confident that he was winning the fight with Goebel before the finish happened, and that he's confident he knows what to change in his game to not make that happen again. Zach Goebel is confident in Zach Goebel.
Now, there is gold on the line, which
yes.
makes this fight even more interesting. This is going to be one for the ages.
Well,
I'm just amped.
You think about what makes a great fight. I mean, two guys. I mean, rematches are sometimes really good fights, especially if the first fight ended in a way that may not have been satisfying to someone.
Right.
Two, they're great talkers.
Yeah.
They're very big personalities. I mean,
They're very entertaining to watch on the mic as well as in the cage.
but they're not just talkers. They can back it up too because they're both great athletes.
Right.
They're both fantastic athletes, and now we're throwing title fight on top of that. That's gonna be one of those ones that we're all gonna watch that fight, and no matter who wins or loses, we know that we're gonna be in for watching a great fight. I mean, we're coming closer to middle of the road here. Schoenfeld, of course, coming from Hollidaysburg. He was a great Hollidaysburg wrestler.
Right.
Zach Goebel coming from closer to the Pittsburgh area. We're meeting in the middle in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. So we have so much going into this fight. I mean, there's just so much building up that this is one of those fights that if you miss it, you might as well just never watch MMA again because you will have missed something fantastic.
It's going to be an incredible bout, and with the title on the line, it's like I said, it's just making it that much better, that much more interesting of a bout. And again, I can't wait. These two guys, I'm a fan of both of them.
Brett Schoenfeld versus Zach Bad News 11 Goebel.
The battle of the nicknames.
It's a battle of everything. I mean, egos are on the... No, not even egos. I don't think Brett Schoenfeld or Zach Goebel are egotistical.
No.
They're very entertaining.
Extremely.
Yeah, there's big personalities. I don't think I can sit here and talk about that fight all day.
And both big personalities will clash this coming Saturday. Don't miss it. One more fight, and it is our main event. Chris Dempsey taking on Nick Krause. Both guys coming off huge wins.
Oh, you know what Chris Dempsey taught me? To never ever count him out ever again.
Don't count out Dempsey.
No, he fought Muhammad Abdullah, and when we did our coverage of the recap of North Shore's Rise to Power 4, I said that Dempsey was getting outclassed on his feet, and I think that might have been strong verbiage. Muhammad Abdullah was certainly winning the fight on the feet for the most of that first round.
Right.
But he did not win the fight because Chris Dempsey, again, is like a Peyton Manning kind of guy. He has no problem beating you with 1,000 small punches. He'll kill you with 1,000 small cuts, I think is the phrase they use. So he spent a lot of the first round feeling out what Muhammad Abdullah was going to do. Ate a lot of punches on the way.
Right.
But then as soon as Dempsey saw a hole in Abdullah's game, he capitalized on it big. So
Big.
Chris Dempsey just taught you, hey, just don't count me out. Just don't do it. You're gonna look silly. And I think yeah.
Now, both guys closely matched, both of them multiple title holders
Oh, yes.
as well.
Yeah. So the best fight styles make fights.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. So we get two guys who are so closely comparable like that. That's what makes for a great main event. And Rich Miller, I have no idea how you develop such a talent, but Rich Miller has a real knack for putting together cards,
right.
Especially great main events. So we got Chris Dempsey, who we've all seen in our area, and we got Nick Krause, who's coming from Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be unfair to Nick Krause to say, oh, he might be the Chris Dempsey of Indiana, because Chris Dempsey might be the Nick Krause of Pennsylvania.
Right. We've never seen Nick Krause fight.
Right. So, but Rich Miller knows his stuff, so he knows how to select these opponents for Chris Dempsey. And when things are so close and there's not as many variables, that's what makes for great main events.
Now, you've done your scouting on these.
Oh, yes.
On this. I mean, we know both multiple title holders.
Yes.
Both have great gas tanks.
Fantastic gas tanks.
Have excellent stopping power.
There are a lot of the guys who have fought, and I've seen a couple locally who try to rely on that one trick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they go into the fight hoping to score the knockout punch. They go in counting on, that one particular submission that's going to get them through the fight.
Right.
Nick Krause and Chris Dempsey have multiple tools in their toolbox. How to win a fight. If they have to go to a decision, they'll do it. If they have to knock somebody out, they'll do it. And they can submit opponents. So, again, these guys have the tools to win fights by any means necessary.
Right.
And that is what makes for great main events. Chris Dempsey's a great main eventer. And I'm going to be very glad to have seen Nick Krause fight after it's all said and done. It's a dramatic fight.
It's going to be I'm telling you what, from top to bottom, this card is going to be fantastic, and you guys cannot afford to miss it.
Absolutely not.
We've talked about Gladiators of the Cage for a while now. If you're watching us in the Central PA area, if you're watching us in State College, Altoona, if you're watching us in the Johnstown area, Johnstown, heck, it's right in your city. Do not...
Johnstown, don't mess this up for us now.
Don't disappoint us, Johnstown. Get out and support these guys. I'm telling you what. Again, I will say this on my dying breath, from top to bottom, Gladiators of the Cage, their cards have never disappointed. You guys, if you miss this, you're missing something big.
Well, geographically, there's no reason that no one from Pittsburgh shouldn't be there, from Altoona shouldn't be there, from State College shouldn't be there. Because we're calculating, what, a 2-hour drive maybe?
At least.
And that's a really conservative estimate.
Right. It could be shorter than that.
Yeah.
From Pittsburgh, heading into Johnstown, it's only like, what, an hour and a half?
Not even that.
Something like that. Not even that.
It's real easy.
It's a short drive from anywhere, and it's a Saturday. Come on. What else are you going to be doing? It's a Saturday. Get out. Instead of kicking back and watching the tube or going out for a couple of brewskis or whatever, come out and see an excellent night of fights, then go out for a couple of brewskis.
Route 22, east or west, all roads are leading to Johnstown, Pennsylvania for Gladiators of the Cages, Road to Glory 6.
And we will be there with updates throughout the evening. So check the Twitter feed, check the Facebook feed. We will keep you updated throughout the night of the winners of just what is going to be an excellent card in Johnstown. Cambria County War Memorial. Tickets are still on sale. Get them while they're hot, because they're going to go fast.
Oh, yes. Well, for Drew Shannon, I am your elected official, Albert Cameron. Of course, he is the Prime Minister of Seoul. This has been Cage Nation TV. We're looking forward to seeing you guys in Johnstown, Pennsylvania for Gladiators of the Cages, Road to Glory 6.
We will see you in Johnstown.
Let's go. Welcome to the Cage Nation. Welcome to the Cage Nation. Welcome to the Cage Nation. Yo,